Hey there, people. This is True Outlaw Patriot coming at you with another one. It's going to be a quick one, but came across this article from Yahoo News about the asylum seekers in New York. Uh, what I find fascinating here is that up here it says asylum seekers in New York City say America is nothing like they had imagined. It's chaos. I wonder why. It says city officials say they will not turn their backs on an estimated 57,300 migrants seeking shelter, but limited resources they contended are making a strenuous situation desire. I did a video with some news clippings a few days ago where actually the numbers are higher than that by the news itself, saying that it was about 92 or 93,000 illegals that have come in that are in New York alone, so they say. But down here in this article, it says, for one 29-year-old Venezuelan woman who left her two children and partner behind in her home country to embark on a 6-month journey to New York City, America represented hope. There, she thought, she would find safety and the opportunity to make a living. But 4 months after arriving in the U.S., she says it's nothing like she had imagined. So, it took her 6 months to get to New York, and it's been 4 months after she arrived. So she's been in this country, in New York, for 10 months, while her husband and her children are stuck back in Venezuela. It's mind-boggling, but she goes on to say it's too difficult to come to a place where you don't know the language. Yeah, very understandable. The woman who agreed to speak anonymously to protect her safety told Yahoo News. Speaking Spanish, the woman had been standing along the granite wall of a bustling Midtown Manhattan restaurant attached to the Roosevelt Hotel, which in recent months has been transformed into the city's migrant intake center. Again, more wasted money to bring people in and to process them. And I'll get to my point about this in a minute. It says, like many Venezuelans who've come to the U.S. in recent years, the woman explained that Venezuela's corrupt and repressive government had left her with few options at home. She embarked on the dangerous journey to the U.S. by herself, traveling through the perilous Darien Gap that connects Colombia to Panama, then multiple countries including Nicaragua and Honduras by foot and public transportation. She stopped for weeks at a time to work only long enough to make enough money for the next leg of her trip. Since arriving in New York, it says she struggled to make money and obtain basic necessities while navigating the city's shelter system. Eventually, she says she hopes to bring her family to America, but she's unsure how she will make that happen. And here she says right here, I just want a job, she said. It is very difficult to get a place when you have nothing. You know, I've been saying this for the longest on a few of my videos, and I've always said this, that it's a disservice when politicians, especially the Democrats, they sell a pipe dream to all these illegals. I mean, I was reading an article earlier, and I believe between Friday and Saturday, over 180,000 more immigrants came across the border. 180,000. And they're shipping them. They're trying to get them, like I've been saying, and a lot of other outlets have been saying, the outlets that care, they're trying to send them to the red states. And this is out of the playbook that the Democrats and the left use, because they're trying to establish control of the vote in many parts of this country. And it all falls on the backs of women like this. And not only women like this, but also men and children. And not just the illegals that are coming in, but it falls on the backs of everyday Americans who are paying taxes and can't get through the way they used to. You know, Biden's economy is a disaster. It's a damn joke. And people still say and bitch and moan, saying that he's a great president, he's doing so much, and he touts himself on TV. Meanwhile, there's a chaotic situation going on in Hawaii, and he's off in what is it, Reno, Nevada, Lake Tahoe for the weekend, you know, thinking up whatever it is he needs to think up. Another thing that's concerning is that Kamala Harris is supposed to be the border czar. She's not there. She's not in Hawaii. We know that. She's definitely not in California. And California is suffering a hurricane right now. So where is she? No one knows. Not on the news. She's quiet. You know. But when it comes to this situation, not only does the mainstream media fudge the numbers like right here, okay, they want to tell the American people that by letting all these asylum seekers in is good for the country. How can it be good for the country if the illegal immigrants themselves are saying that it's hard? And that's just one lady, okay? But let's read a little more. It says the woman is just one of an estimated 57,300 migrants. It's funny how they have to say that again. Currently seeking shelter in New York City. That's on top of all the other homeless people born in America that are homeless in New York. Okay? But they won't talk about that. But it says thousands of them have been busting from Texas. A political move by Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott to force the federal government to tighten border security. Others have made their way to New York on their own. Now, they're saying it's a political move. And that, again, right there in itself is wrong. Because had Texas not taken the stance to say, no, you want these illegals in here, you can have them. Texas would have been bearing the blunt. Not only of these thousands of illegals, tens of thousands of illegals, but at the same time dealing with the ones that are coming through. So in other words, if Texas didn't have the means or make the choice to say we got to push these people out, if they kept them all in Texas, Texas would be overrun right now by an estimated 5 million. And that was the last heavy count as of a couple of weeks ago. It's probably gone up to 6 million by now. Because for 180,000 to come through, I mean, anybody smart can do the math. So it's safe to say that there's probably over 500,000 illegal immigrants coming in every month into this country. And as you can see in the pictures, I mean, it's getting stacked. And these are all able-bodied men coming from other countries. Okay, but down here, let's continue. Down here it says, for most migrants, the prospect of finding a decent job and safety is enough to justify the arduous and often dangerous journey to the United States. But now that they're here, some say the U.S. is nothing like what they had imagined. Really. I thought of New York differently, but now I also see that New York is in chaos, said a 48-year-old Ecuadorian woman who was also staying at the Roosevelt. The woman who declined to give her name told Yahoo News that she, her husband, and her 2-year-old child escaped violence in Ecuador, traveling for 2 months before they eventually reached New York. Now, here's the thing. You know, when anybody leaves a country, and this is where the Democrats push the big lie on Americans and on these illegals. The asylum laws is not that you leave a country to seek asylum and trek another 13 countries to get to the country that you want to be in. To seek asylum is to leave your country, crossing the border into another country, and then you seek asylum there. But it's obvious a lot of these immigrants from South America, they're actually making the 6-month journey just to make it to America. That is not seeking asylum. That is seeking opportunity. And I know I'm going to upset a lot of people, and believe me, I have nothing against the illegal immigrants that are looking for a better life. What I am against is that we're in a time in this country, not only in this country, around the world, where criminals are running rampant and using this movement of illegal immigration going from country to country, crossing border, border after border, and they're entering other countries and they're causing chaos. And a lot of people don't want to hear it, but a lot of them are getting caught and arrested for rape, attempted murder, kidnapping, child endangerment. I mean, some of the worst. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Trump was right, because Trump knew that on the inside what was going on. A lot of these countries were emptying out their prison population. People may say, no, it's just a few bad apples. I'm sorry. You do not have that many criminals come through unless they were already criminals in their country. Okay? And they could have easily stayed in their country and commit more crime. But no. They were probably given the green light, let go, and said, okay, this is where you're going to go. We're going to disrupt everything. And it's sad for these immigrants to say that America is not what they thought. And that's because they're in a situation where they were fed the American dream, saying, oh, you're going to be rich, you're going to do this, you're going to prosper. Yes, that is true. You can, if you do it the right way. Okay? And this is where a lot of illegals will come in and start bad-mouthing America, or bad-mouthing other parts of the world when they're not welcomed, because they're not understanding what we're going through or what the other people in the other countries are going through. And a lot of this country was founded on a lot of immigrants from around the world, but they made their bones. And that's what a lot of people are not understanding. And the Democrats have a way of trying to make everybody feel guilty, and they call them all kinds of names, especially like racist or fascist, for not accepting people from other countries that have nothing. Well, guess what? We're all struggling the same, because we have an administration that doesn't give a flying rat's ass about its own people. Why would they care about illegal immigrants? They'll give them what they want when they get here. They'll give them the song and dance. But now you got the illegals saying it's not exactly what we thought. But let's continue. She goes on to say, in my country right now, they are stealing, they are killing, and there is no longer security, just desperation, she said, rocking her child back and forth in a stroller on the sidewalk. Well, guess what? My heart really goes out for this woman, but there's a lot of chaos going on in this country also. And if we can't get that under control, how are we supposed to cater to other people that are escaping their countries? See, Americans have nowhere to go but stay in America. We can't just get up and go find shelter in another country. But damn it, we need to take care of ourselves first before we can help anybody else. Just so people know. We come to look for work. When we die, we are not going to take anything with us, but we want to at least to have stability to live, at least while living in this world. No kidding. That's what everybody wants, and that's what everybody deserves. But it's hard, again, when you're being run by a regime that is only interested in power and money, not in human life. They say they do, but they don't. They don't. And I've always said, I'm not blaming this all on the Democrats. There are a lot of crooked rhino Republicans out there, within the party. And if it was up to me, I'd point them out and just like vote them out the way they did Liz Cheney. Because she is definitely, in my eyes, she is definitely a traitor to this country. But let's continue. Now it says, the migrant challenge in New York City. In the first week of August alone, nearly 3,000 migrants entered the city's shelter system. 3,000. Okay, I wonder how many American-born homeless people are in New York. With up to an estimated 1,000 migrants arriving each day. Each day. Okay? So that means, right here, this has to be a big fat line mistake, because it says in the first week of August alone, nearly 3,000 in the first week. But it says with up to an estimated 1,000 migrants arriving each day. Somebody do the math, please. 7 days in a week times 1,000, that's 7,000. So we already know right here the numbers are wrong. But I mean, what do you expect as Yahoo News? City officials say it costs about $10 million a day to care for all of them. And who's funding that money? New York City taxpayers. New York State taxpayers. I'll put it that way. Okay? And the reason why I bitch about this is because I was born and raised in New York. Okay? I love New York. I mean, everybody who I consider a friend in New York is actually, I consider family. And if the state that I'm living in, because I see the influx of a lot of illegals coming in here, because I'm ready to pack up and move again. Because it's truly affecting, especially the construction business. I could only imagine what my people in New York, what they're dealing with their paychecks. And it's unfucking fair. It's unfair. And I know a lot of them don't even have a vehicle like I do. And it's costing me a ton every month. Never mind insurance. Just on gas alone and having to travel and going to work. It's not easy. Especially when prices are going up, taxes are going up, and the paycheck doesn't go up. Excuse me. But let's continue, because this man right here is going to be the man of the hour. Now, it says New York City Mayor Eric Adams has said that without significant financial assistance from the state and federal government. Really? Okay. In addition to policy changes. Really? Okay. The city's migrant issue will soon become a disaster. Really? It will become a disaster? Okay. At a press conference earlier this month, Adam estimated that caring for the asylum seekers may cost the city more than $12 billion over 3 fiscal years. $12 billion. Now, let's just put it this way. You would think that when he opened up his fat mouth saying, oh, New York is a sanctuary city, he didn't put those numbers into perspective? Or did he think that he was going to pander to everybody and say, oh, yeah, we can't push these illegals out. You know, New York is a sanctuary city. But what he wasn't banking on was that places like Florida and Texas are going to be like, yeah, you want them in the country? You take them. So not only has he done a disservice, okay, to the illegals, because now they don't have the money and they're running out of whatever money they have fast. His biggest disservice was to the people that voted for him, his constituents, and every other person that lives in New York State. You took their hard-earned money, raising up their rents, raising up taxes, doing whatever it is you can do, letting crime get out of hand, tying the hands of cops to do their job, letting the regular homegrown rapists and murderers and thieves and all that destroy New York. And now you say it's going to cost more than $12 billion? You didn't see that coming, Mr. Mayor. Okay. The city is running out of money, appropriate space, and personnel to care for migrant families. Really? Didn't see that one coming, did you? The mayor told reporters since 2022, he added, nearly 100,000 migrants have arrived in the city. And though thousands have since moved elsewhere, many remain in the city's care. Now, so New York City has the burden now. He says thousands have moved elsewhere, or have they been shipped elsewhere? If they have nothing, where did they move to? You see where I'm going with this? But anyway, it says the immigration system in this nation is broken. No kidding. It has been broken for decades, Adams said, declaring today New York City has been left to pick up the pieces. You know, he makes it seem as if somebody came in the middle of the night and started dumping these illegals off onto New York's doorstep and walked away and says, look what you did, man. You left us holding the bag. Oh, wait a minute. But that did happen. It happened when they were bringing the illegals and shipping them at night to Florida, to Texas, to Arizona. And now He's over here trying to make it seem like, oh, boo-hoo me. No, not boo-hoo you, Mr. Mayor. Okay? You did this. You and your political leftist party did this. Every single person that commits a crime, not illegal immigrant, every single person that commits a crime in New York, that blood falls on your hands. Every illegal immigrant that suffers, that blood falls on your hands. Every illegal immigrant that commits a crime, that blood falls on your fucking hands. Because you didn't do your job. But anyway, now this is what he has to say. Mr. Mayor. Oh, excuse me.
We don't get the support we need. New Yorkers could be left with a $12 billion bill. So, while New York City will continue to lead, it's time the state and federal government step up. We will continue to do more than any other city or level of government in the nation to accommodate asylum seekers.
See, here we go. We will do whatever we can. On whose dollar, Mr. Mayor? On the New York State taxpayer dollar? Or on the federal level where we take more taxpayer money and do that? You keep calling them asylum seekers. That is not seeking asylum when you're trekking for 6 months to go from one country, bouncing over 10 other countries to get to the country that you want. On top of that, all the other countries in between, their people are doing the same thing. But yet, you have all these able-bodied men who can't sit back. They send their women while they stay back watching the kids. When instead, what they need to do is rise in power and enforce and take their countries fucking back from the criminal element. And I know people will say, damn, Hammy, that was kind of harsh. No, I don't give a shit. You know why? Because like I said, us Americans have nowhere to go. We're the ones that have to stay here and fight. We don't have the luxury to cross borders and get away from the tyranny that we have, like right now in Washington. We have to stay here and hold our ground. But then you have men like this who come into power and still wants to put the burden on Americans. When I hear this man sometimes say us New Yorkers, it truly pisses me off. This man is not a New Yorker. I don't even consider this man a true American, in my opinion. It's hard to believe that he was a police chief or whatever he was, captain, lieutenant, who the hell he was. I like to know what his tenure was like when he was on the beat. But let's continue.
Because that's who we are. A city of empathy, of compassion, and care.
He honestly just said that. But yet, out in Queens, Staten Island, Long Island, wherever, they're setting up tents, taken away from what the hardworking taxpayers have done. Putting tents on Randall's Island. Now they can't play soccer. I mean, just setting up tent cities in places, you know, where people are protesting and they don't care. That they even arrested Curtis Lewer from the Guardian Angels the other day for protesting, for trying to block an area where they had put tents up where they were going to house 1,000 men. And he wants to say it's a city of empathy, compassion, and care? For who, Mr. Mayor? For who? Not for the people of the city? Not for the people of New York State? You stuck all these illegal immigrants in all these hotels. They trashed them. They treat people like crap. Already two of them, I made a video about it, 2 of them were arrested for rape. Who is it that you have empathy, compassion, and care for?
And we know, in the long run, asylum seekers will contribute to our strength like so many before them. They have already begun to make homes, to give back to their communities, to become New Yorkers.
He is so full of shit. Everybody knows 9 out of 10 times these illegals, they make money, they send it back home. He knows that most of them can't find jobs. I'd say 90% of them can't find jobs. They're all crowded up in the streets. But that is the pandering that Democrats like to do. It says here, Adams and other city officials have vowed to not turn their backs on migrants that need aid, but in recent weeks, hundreds of migrants have been photographed sleeping on sidewalks because the city says there is nowhere else for them to go. Excuse me again. So this video saying one thing, but he's saying something else here. So if they have nowhere to go, how can you say some of them have already moved on? You see, it's just double talk. No one wants anyone sleeping on the streets. No kidding. Americans have been trying to get the homeless off the street. And now you just added more. No one wants anyone sleeping on the street or being used as a pawn in a political fight. Really? He's honestly going to say something like that when it's the Democrats that are letting the illegal immigrants in, keeping that border open because they want votes. If it wasn't because of they wanted votes, then why can't they shut down the fucking border? I love this right here when he says, no one wants anyone sleeping on the street or being used as a pawn in a political fight. No, your side started that fight. When Biden on day one, okay, started signing executive orders that took away all the securities that Donald Trump put in place to keep the border secure and keep this country thriving. I can honestly say out of all the years of me working, the 4 years that Donald Trump was president was for the best years financially for me and for many other people. He goes on to say, but it's just plain reality that there's no more room. No shit, send them back. A City Hall advisor told Politico. A broken system. Says immigration advocates say the migrant issue has been years in the making. I'm glad they know that. The arrival of asylum seekers exposed how broken the system is and has been for all those New Yorkers who have been stuck for upwards of a year. Theodore Moore, Vice President of Policy and Programs at the New York Immigration Coalition, told Yahoo News in an email, there remains a lack of political will to rectify the situation, now and in previous administrations. Okay. Other critics have accused the city of using migrants on the sidewalk as props to get more federal aid, even though they have more resources at their disposal. See, it's all fucked up. It's all fucked up. There's no question that the city could provide additional spaces for the folks who are on the sidewalk. Joshua Goldfein, an attorney for the Legal Aid Society in New York, told the Associated Press. Really? You didn't do it for the regular people that were homeless. Now you're claiming that there's more than enough to do for illegals that are here homeless? You see how this shit goes? But the mayor's office refutes those claims, adding that officials are conducting themselves with humanity and with compassion. Really? Okay. The recent influx of migrants to New York City has shone a spotlight on an issue that for many Americans is often seen as a distant concept. The Ecuadorian woman who spoke to Yahoo News says she hopes that she and the other migrants can be seen not as a problem for the city, but as people looking for a better life. We are not animals, we are humans, she said. We just want to be treated the same as we treat others. Now, I totally understand where she's coming from. Okay, nobody wants to be treated like an animal. But unfortunately, certain political parties, I should say certain politicians and a political party pretty much treat half of the Americans like we're shit anyway. So I'm sorry to say, sweetheart, welcome to America. I hope that if you make it and all the other illegals that wind up staying that they do the right thing, and that they will use this and understand who exactly was it that put them in this situation. And then when it comes that time to vote, that it will definitely not be for a fucking Democrat. Now, Eric Adams says that, making it seem he speaks for all New Yorkers. But here's the thing. We're going to go to the comments real quick before I end this video. Okay? We've got 13,312 comments. Let's just try this. This is by Chris. If New York City is spending $10 million a day for 57,300 people, that's $5,235 a month for each person. Most American citizens don't take home that much in pay and manage. New York City and state and federal government need to fix their spending habits and stop wasting our money. That is 726 thumbs up to 8 thumbs down. Mary goes on to say, I don't think Americans realize how much they're giving up in taxes after paying federal income tax, state income tax, Medicare tax, Social Security tax, sales and use tax, property tax, corporate tax gets added to the cost of the product. That's 244 thumbs up to 3 thumbs down. You know, there's a Geordie living in the outskirts of New York City, making a little less than half of that. I've been looking for a new state to move to because I can't afford to live here working 40 hours a week. That's 252 thumbs up to 5 thumbs down. I can go on and on and on. Every single comment is, they have hundreds of thumbs up, a few thumbs down. Okay? This one has 1,300 thumbs up. It says, I'm very middle of the road when it comes to politics, but generally I lean to the left on most issues, but I definitely lean to the right when it comes to immigration in this country. We can't continue to accept every person that turns up at our border because, quite frankly, this country can't take it. That's by Donnie, who's an admitted leftist. So, I hope the super mayor, Eric Adams, will probably go through, I don't know, 10 of these 13,313 comments left, because he does not speak for everybody in New York. I'm True Outlaw Patriot. I know the video's a little long, but please comment, like, subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. Okay? If anybody knows me, I'm not against people coming here from other countries. What I'm against is when Americans are put second. Okay? And what I'm against is when people are being left to dry, whether you're here illegally or you're born and raised here. No one should be left out to dry. And what the Democrats have done with these illegals, it's inhumane. And let's not even get into the topic of all the little children and females that don't make it across that border, that are being kidnapped. Lest anybody forget, there are over 85,000 children missing that have crossed the border. Congress has already spoken about this. Chip Roy from Texas has brought this up to Congress. 85,000. And this was about 2 months ago that number came up. 85,000, I'll say it again, 85,000 immigrant children that have gone completely missing. Stay vigilant, keep praying, and keep praying for each other. Peace.